Schoten, July 2nd, 1971. In the parking lot of a GB supermarket in Antwerp suburbs, Belgium, customers queue in front of a new small red building. Inside, staff gives out menus with instructions. A man approaches the counter, examines the menu, hesitates, and asks, "So, I choose my dish here, I pay, and I eat over there, is that right?" For the first time in Belgium, a fast food restaurant inspired by the United States but designed for Europe has been launched. It's called Quick. The project started 3 years prior. In 1968, Maurice Coe, GB Group president, returns from a United States trip where he discovers McDonald's and burger chef chains. Upon his return, he sends Jacques Dopschi, his right-hand man, on a risky mission to Paris. Adapting this model to European habits, on July 2nd, 1971, this Paris becomes reality. Quick rapidly expands, establishing itself in Belgium before conquering France. It acquires rivals, creates iconic products, and briefly rivals McDo. At its peak, the brand is everywhere in train stations, in city centers, on highway rest areas. Everyone knows the giant. But a few years later, the brand collapses. Dozens of restaurants close, the image is damaged, and a brutal takeover by Burger King buries the original project. What caused this Belgian success story to sink so quickly? Hello, team mindset. Hope you're well. After analyzing the Burger King versus McDonald's battle, many nostalgic viewers requested a video about Quick. Today, we'll explore the history of this company, which goes far beyond just burgers. Let's go. In Aix-en-Provence, a day in July 1980, a line of curious people stretches in front of a new restaurant on Cour Mirabeau in the city center on a hot day. A red and white logo reading Quick hung above the door. This is the very first establishment of the company in France, and it's an immediate success. At this point, McDonald's is not yet the war machine we know today. The American brand has just set up in France, in Strasbourg, then in Créteil. Quick arrives with an almost local European image, no golden arch or American mascot, no flashy marketing. A hearty burger with a soft bun, signature sauce, and a name that speaks for itself. Quick's idea was simple: provide fast food without the American folklore, and it worked. In the 80s and 90s, the brand rapidly expanded, setting up in city centers, train stations, and highway rest areas. It even buys its competitors from French chains like Freetime or Okitch, but also several former Burger Kings. When the latter leaves France in 1982, remember this well, because a few years later, this strategy will backfire. In the meantime, it's a masterstroke. Quick now becomes the second largest fast food chain in France, just behind McDonald's. The brand distinguishes itself with its burger star, the giant two steaks, featuring a well-balanced sauce and a unique taste. Find anywhere else. For a generation, it's the flavor of Wednesday afternoons, gatherings with friends, or a quick bite before a movie. But Quick doesn't stop there. The brand innovates with salads, fruit desserts, the magic box to rival the Happy Meal, and children's play areas. And then, it does something even more audacious. It sells beer. Yes, in a fast food restaurant, it's a real alternative to McDonald's. More European, more family-friendly, closer. In the shadows and idea forms. What if Quick one day managed to dethrone the king of fast food? What if Europe finally had its champion against the American giants? For those unaware, Quick is not merely a credible McDonald's alternative. It's the brand with field expertise. It speaks the language, understands the expectations, establishes itself faster, and above all, it is ahead. In the 1980s, McDonald's struggled to adapt, arriving with its standardized American design, codes, and recipes. But the French public is not yet fully on board. Quick, conversely, adapts its downtown restaurants, offering products that appeal to local consumers by emphasizing proximity. By 1985, Quick had over 130 restaurants in France, while McDonald's had less than 100. For a few years, Quick leads the dance. But this lead, although impressive, is too fragile. Because while Quick is developing rapidly, McDonald's is building an empire based on real estate, global standardization, marketing power, and surgical execution. And what follows will change everything. It's noon in a Quick in the Parisian suburbs. The service is smooth, the room is full. But that day, something changed. The bacon is gone, burgers instead of smoked turkey. A poster on the door announces the novelty, 100% halal meat. This test, Quick launched it in 8 restaurants, and the results exceed all expectations. The brand expands, with 15 and then 22 restaurants offering halal options, providing relief for some customers. Finally, a large chain that offers a menu respectful of their practice. For others, it's a provocation. Despite politicians' outcry about communitarianism and demands for a ban, Quick remains resolute, secretly pleasing its management. They believe they've discovered a unique approach to counter McDonald's overwhelming domination. The realization hits hard. They already have over 1,400 restaurants in France. Quick barely 400. And the gap is only widening. McDonald's is no longer just selling burgers. It creates an experience. It modernizes. Their restaurant features a sleek design, ordering kiosks, McCafés, wraps, and vegetarian menus. And he does it quickly, very quickly. Meanwhile, Quick remains stuck between two eras. The restaurants are aging, service is inconsistent, and product innovation is lagging behind. Moreover, it has a massive debt from the 2007 acquisition by a French investment fund. And then comes the coup de grace, January 2011. In Avignon, a teenager dies of food poisoning after eating at a Quick. The case dominates newspaper headlines. Investigators uncover hygiene failures, shocking the public. The mood is tense at the headquarters as an executive observes declining attendance curves. Rapid, sweeping changes are necessary. This is the cold and brutal observation that is made. The old slogan, it's the taste, disappears completely. In the fast-paced fast food market, discussing quality, progress, and traceability while reacting slowly means losing the competitive edge. As Quick attempts to rectify its errors, a new danger from the United States lurks in the shadows, preparing to strike, who returns to France with a very clear goal to take back everything she has lost. In a meeting room, a heavy silence permeates the air. Quick's leaders sit around the table, examining the documents before them. One of them speaks up and, in a calm voice, announces, "This is official. Burger King is going to buy Quick. Everything is signed." His colleagues are resigned. They knew it. Quick has been losing market share for months, accumulating debt, and struggling with an unclear brand image while falling behind the thriving McDonald's. When Burger King offers a clear deal with fresh money, it's accepted. For Burger King, it's a golden opportunity for revenge. They left France in 1997, driven out by a challenging market, as explained in the dedicated video. If that's not the case, you'll find it in the description. Since 2012, they have been preparing their return. Instead of rebuilding a network from scratch, they acquire Quick Plus, which has 500 restaurants across France. The acquisition of Quick by Burger King is a strategic move that will see most Quick restaurants rapidly converted to the Burger King brand once officially announced. The giant is going to be replaced by the Whopper. Signs will change, kitchens redone, staff trained, and ad campaigns ready to deploy. It's clear Quick will disappear. The first conversions begin in 2016, lasting a few weeks in some cities. At the reopening, the queue wraps around the parking lot. Customers flock due to the novelty effect. Burger King's success is heartbreaking for former Quick employees. They witness signs falling, logos vanishing, and recipes fading into oblivion. As Burger King rapidly reclaims its place in French fast food, a new chapter begins. However, there's one detail they hadn't foreseen. Among all the Quick restaurants, some have a very particular positioning. As you now know, they are 100% halal and are a hit with a loyal clientele. However, Burger King does not want to offer halal. It's a strategic choice, and above all, a way not to divide its image. So these Quick ones, they're going to leave them alone. At this exact moment, something unlikely starts to form. An outcome that no one had anticipated. While Quick seemed doomed, a small part of the brand will resist. And against all odds, reborn. A new Quick opens. The store's new facade prominently displays its red logo in a commercial district. A screen inside shows a limited edition burger made with Tony Parker. A customer films the scene with his phone. Quick is back in business with a full restaurant and orders pouring in. The headquarters reports 750,000 burgers sold in just 5 weeks, breaking records. Yet in 2019, no one believed in Quick anymore. But in 2021, an American investment fund, HIG Capital, decides to take a crazy gamble, buy what remains of the brand, and relaunch it. The strategy is simple. Forget the war against McDo and Burger King. Abandon the idea of dominating the mass market and instead focus on a forgotten segment. Quick becomes the first major fast food chain to be 100% halal, with certified meats, adapted recipes, and revamped branding. Crucially, the team knows they can't win by imitating others. Instead, they resolved to become the best version of themselves. Partnerships with French celebrities, targeted campaigns, restaurant redesign, quality improvement. And little by little, Quick rebuilds its image. Customers return, franchises apply, the numbers go up. In 2024, the brand has 160 restaurants, a turnover of 515 million euros, and a double-digit growth. It is present in France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Morocco. The new chief executive officer sets a goal to reach 300 restaurants by 2028. What impresses most is not the size, but the clarity of Quick's vision. It now speaks to a specific audience rather than trying to please everyone. It provides a unique identity, distinct products, and an unparalleled experience. And in a saturated market, that's often the best card to play. Quick is more than fast food. They were the first, closest to customers and most European, but things change. But over time, they stopped questioning themselves, believing their lead and name would protect them. Meanwhile, their competitors were progressing, adapting, and investing. Consequently, Quick lost the volume battle and was overtaken, almost erased, making this story unique. It's not a fall, it's a double learning. First lesson, to last, you must evolve and reinvent yourself constantly. What you do today will not be enough tomorrow. What got you here won't take you any further. The second lesson is that even after a defeat, there is always an angle, a possible repositioning. Quick accepted reality and made a bold move that few companies dare to make. It made a decision, it chose a niche and stuck to it, and that's how it survived. Remember this when launching a company, project, or career. In a rapidly changing world, the fastest to adapt wins, not the strongest. A bit like Pizza Hut, which lost its throne to its eternal competitor, Domino's Pizza, following a series of strategic errors. As we can see in the video that's displayed,